Hello, how's it going, Wildcats? Of course, it's your host, Genero Carter, host of Wildcat Den. And on last week's show, we had a panel of Bethune-Cookman University Army ROTC cadets. Now, last week we had a very detailed conversation about what does it feel like to potentially become a future black lieutenant in America's Army. We also got personal with Cadet Dutchin Ilme, and she told us how she's really in the Army ROTC program for her mother, who had recently passed, and for her father, who just underwent a $1.2 million heart transplant. Now, I told you all at the end of the segment that we were going to have a surprise guest, and I did, of course, shout out my former co-host Henrietta, but she's going to join us a little bit later. So who I have now, and I'm going to let them introduce themselves, is...
I'm Bruce Federico from Embry-Riddle Army ROTC.
Joshua Guerrero from Embry-Riddle Army ROTC.
All right, now before we get into like the history and the questions that I have planned, just give us a little bit of background about yourself, you know, where you're from and, you know, how you got to Daytona Beach.
Okay. I'm from Tampa, Florida, and I came over to school in Embry-Riddle to run with the cross-country and track team. And upon running, I fell in love with Army ROTC because it works so well with the running program at our school.
I'm from South California, and I actually in the same boat. The Embry-Riddle cross-country team recruited me to go there, and besides pursuing my running career, I also wanted to pursue an aviation career.
So how ironic is that you're from the southern tip of Florida and you're from the southern tip of California, and now you're here in Daytona Beach, Florida, not only in Army ROTC together, but have also been teammates on the cross country team. So can you just lay a little bit of background about the relationship between both organizations?
Well, they work really well together. They know that both of them are very demanding. Running pretty much took over our lives for the first 2 years, and then junior year, which is the most important year, as you know. That's when you have to start focusing on your career and what you're going to do after you graduate. And then senior year, it's pretty much you're developing everyone underneath you, so the freshmen, sophomores, and juniors. And so we're pretty much devoted to that right now.
All right, so just to lay a little bit of background for the Wildcats out there, and just anyone tuning in for that matter who are not too familiar with Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University. Since it was founded just 22 years after the Wright brothers' first flight, the university and its graduates have built an inviolable record of achievement in every aspect of aviation, and aerospace. The curriculum at Embry-Riddle covers the operational engineering research, manufacturing, marketing, and management of modern aircraft and the systems that support them. The university engages in extensive research and consulting that addresses the unique needs of aviation, aerospace, and related industries. Residential campuses in Daytona Beach, Florida, and Prescott, Arizona provide education in a traditional setting, while Embry-Riddle Worldwide provides instruction through more than 150 locations in the United States, Europe, Canada, and the Middle East, and through online learning. All academic programs at Embry-Riddle are approved for veterans' educational benefits and are accompanied by personalized academic advisement. All right, so what was your first impression of first Daytona Beach and then your host institution, Embry-Riddle?
That's an amazing question, Genero. So first, I'd like to say Daytona Beach came as a shock.
Right.
Growing up, it's MTV, spring break, and getting crazy on the beach, and then you come, and then it's like a eye-opening experience because it's not like that at all.
Actually, I have a few JROTC instructors. When I told them that I was going to school in Daytona Beach at Bethune-Cookman, they were so riled up and say, "Oh yeah, spring break," and I'm like, that was about 40 years ago.
Exactly.
What about you, Josh?
Just like he said, before transferring to Embry-Riddle, as soon as I heard that I got accepted to the Daytona campus, I was like, I don't even need to go visit the campus. I'm just going to go now because the reputation from the East Coast, it's really big all the way out to the West Coast.
Now, since you're from Southern California, do you have about the same weather patterns as back home?
During summer, it's not. The only difference that changes, it's the humidity. Back home, it's dry heat, and us here in the East Coast, it's really, really, really humid.
Yes,
and
very.
It's completely
Very.
bad.
I mean, even I'm from Atlanta, so even when I came here, I had to do some adjusting to the weather as well. But we're going to get right into the questions. So why did you join the program at Embry-Riddle? Like, who recruited you? Who got you to sign your name on that dotted line? And let's start with Josh.
Can you repeat the question one more time?
Why did you join the program?
Okay. Well, at the beginning, I didn't really know what ROTC was. I didn't even know that ROTC existed, to be honest. Although I did had a military dream after graduating from college, so I wanted to enlist the Army, and before knowing that ROTC existed, so I talked to my coach, and he's like, "You should take a look at the ROTC program if you want to join the military instead of enlisting." And I was like, "Okay." So he kind of talked me into it, and then motivated me to join the ROTC program.
Okay, cool. What about you?
So I came to Embry-Riddle thinking I was going to join the Air Force ROTC program, like a lot of cadets there, and then shortly realized, it's not for me. I really like the personal interaction that the Army provided, and it's definitely one-on-one. And I know, as Cadet Rhines mentioned last week, you definitely feel like you're at home. They're your battle buddies, and you always look out for each other. So that's something that definitely drew me in. And then, when they offered to pay for school, you just can't resist, because that's what you want to do in the future.
And that's one thing that we mentioned on last week's show, the phenomenal benefits of being a part of Army ROTC.
Definitely.
What is it, $600 per semester for books, monthly stipend, and you have a tuition paid for? I mean, you just can't beat that. You can't beat it. Now, what were your first impressions of the program here? And we can start with Bruce.
So my first impressions of Army ROTC is, like I said, it's a huge family. It started off with a big barbecue that we had in the very first day of lab. It was awesome because you get to meet the lowest level, which is your mentorship families, and they do the exact same thing as you, the same programs and everything. So it definitely provided a strong a unity, so you knew this is exactly what they were going through, and you were about to go through the same things. So my first impression overall, it was really good, and it was, even if sometimes it is a little shaky, the next time it'll be better.
Right. What about you, Josh?
I was really impressed when I joined in the ROTC program. I remember my freshman year being really, really, really shy, and then moving along throughout the years. Now we're the Wolfpack. We all have each other's back, and we all treat each other's like family.
Okay. So before I ask you that question, I did lay a little bit of the benefits monetary that you can benefit from the program. But aside from that, the monetary compensation, how has the program benefited you? And we'll start with Josh.
It actually benefited me a lot because I've done things that I never thought I could do. For example, leading others. Like we just finished our leadership development assessment course, LDAC in Washington State. That really taught me a lot and really showed me that I can do things that others can't.
Like get in front of an element and just...
Like leadership.
Right. And what about you, Bruce?
I'm sorry, what was the question?
The question was, how has the program benefited you? You see, you're stuck on the money still. That's what...
Well, definitely financially it's helped pay for school, on that note. But, I've been able to see parts of the world that, I never thought I would ever go to, such as this summer we went to LDAC in Washington State. I went to Romania and Alaska all in the same summer. So
this summer?
Yes, it was definitely eye-opening. And
so what did you do in Romania and Alaska? Because those are two places, well, me personally, I would say Alaska I probably would never, ever visit. But what did you do there?
So in Romania, I definitely had the opportunity to teach their cadets at their equivalent of a West Point.
And West Point being the United States Military Academy.
Yes. And so I taught them the ways of the American culture, and they taught us the Romanian culture. And we got to experience their food, their traditions,
How was
such
the food?
as dance. Oh, their food was great.
I love eating. Would you eat the Romanian food?
Of course, absolutely.
I love to eat. Oh, but keep going, though.
And so moving on to Alaska, that was also great because I got to...
Very cold.
It was cold, especially towards the end. I was able to lead soldiers that I've never been able to lead before in my life. So these people have been in the Army for 8-10 years, and I'm still a cadet.
I was just about to mention that, Wildcats. This is a senior cadet. We're going into his senior year, leading enlisted soldiers who had been in for a while, like you just said. So this is something, ROTC is definitely a program that can definitely equip you with the tools and the instruments to get up in front of a group of individuals or soldiers or whomever it may be to motivate them to accomplish a particular task. So you mentioned about your summer too. So what did you do your summer? other than LDAT?
Oh, you know, funny story. I was selected to go to South America and Chile. However, with budget cuts, I was unfortunate to go.
Okay.
Unfortunate to go.
Okay.
So I ran out of
Sucks.
luck.
So he had the good summer, and
And I did
you had
not.
an unfortunate summer.
Yes.
Okay. Well, we're going to move right along. How does it feel to become a future lieutenant?
For me, it feels amazing. It's an accomplishment that's like no other. Definitely you get to, like I said, lead people that have had 8 times more experience than you. You're coming in and you're in charge of 40, 50, maybe even 60 people, $2.5 million of equipment, and you know America trusted you with their sons and daughters.
Definitely.
And the confidence that you have at that point from all your training that you will go to once you graduate, you're ready to take on everything and anything that will come your way.
Okay, now before we get to your response, we're going to take a quick commercial break. If you're just joining us, of course, this is Wildcat Den. We have Bruce Federico here and Josh Guerrero, both are Embry-Riddle cadets. So we're going to take a quick commercial break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
I grew up wanting to be a pimp or a baseball.
Because our thoughts are concealed and the tats on our skin don't reveal the weight on our chest.
Tell me.
Did you get you some American Deli before you came to Daytona? Really a fun show, I gotta say. Shout outs to BCU.
Speak now or never. This is Open Mic TV.
But you here now, right?
Okay, yeah, you're right.
Right.
Hi you guys, my name's Taylor. I'm from Los Angeles, California. I'm a junior and I'm a psychology major at Bethune-Cookman University, and you guys are watching BCU Campus TV.
What's going on, Wildcats? It's your boy, Genero Carter,
And I'm Jaquel Phillip,
and we're both representing Phi Mu Alpha.
Fraternity of America Incorporated.
Ooh, ooh.
Hey,
And you are now tuned into
BCU Campus TV.
Turn Up.
Ooh, ooh.
What's good? I'm Sasha Jean. I'm a junior member of the Lady Wildcat track and field team, and you're watching BCU Campus TV. Go Wildcats.
All right, how's it going, Wildcats? Of course, you know this is your host, Genero Carter, Wildcat Den. And before the commercial break, I did say that we have Bruce Federico and Josh Guerrero, both are Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University, ROTC cadets. So before the commercial, Bruce actually answered the question of how does it feel to become a future Army lieutenant, and now we're going to get Josh's response to that. So how does it feel to be a future lieutenant?
It's actually really, really big responsibility, as Federica was stating that you're in charge of really, really expensive equipment, and that
Tanks, missiles,
definitely, and that kind of makes me
M16s.
nervous. But on the other hand, does not make me nervous because we're gonna receive the proper training before we're ready to perform our duties.
Okay.
So
for you, it's just, okay, once I graduate, I attend my follow-on training,
definitely,
and then I walk into this huge responsibility.
yes, because
So
I know I'm in good hands. So there's
You're in
nothing-
good hands?
There's that definitely.
What about the
nothing for me
soldiers?
to
Are
worry.
they in good hands too?
Definitely, they will be definitely.
They're
in
your
good
hands, are they good?
They will be in good hands.
Sanitized?
Definitely.
Okay.
sanitized.
All right, so we're going to move right along. The next question I would like to ask you is, describe how Army ROTC challenged you both physically and mentally. And we can start with Bruce with this one.
All right, so physically, definitely it's my favorite aspect. We have PT every Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Classes are on Tuesday mornings.
And let's go back for a little bit. What's PT for those who might not know?
It's physical training. Basically, you have an assessment, the Army Physical Fitness Test, every month, and that just determines your physical training, what you need to do. So we are tested in push-ups, a sit-up event, and a 2-mile run, and basically that's just what they judge off your performance off of.
Like your
PT
physical
class
readiness.
and
And this event, is it timed? Like how, are there certain requirements that, certain cadets, male and female cadets must, adhere to?
Yes, that's right, General. For the most part, that's the standard right there. Depending on your age and your gender, that's how you have to perform.
Okay.
And as you get older, times and
Put on more weight,
yes, times and push-ups get a little bit less and less.
A little bit more lenient.
Yes.
They know how it is. All right. What about mentally for you personally? How does ROTC challenge you?
Well, it's definitely you feel confident when you go out into the woods and it's just pitch black and you have a compass, a map, and a protractor. And it's not like the protractor you use in high school and it's like you're swiveling things and whatnot. You just find out where you're at and you're walking through the woods and it's dark and you hear things in the bushes and you're like, what was that? But overall, I mean,
Sasquatch.
mentally confident, that's how you feel. And then going on to mental agility, you get to see different aspects. There's different solutions to every answer. And, they're not all right there in front of you. Sometimes you have to dig deep and go into, some doctrine and find it, or you have to, just be like, this is the best way to work.
Right. And then what about you, Josh?
Oh, physically, that's pretty funny. People come up to me sometimes and say, "Are you ready for the physical training test?" And I'm like,
I will probably be that type of person to
and
say that.
they're surprised just because I'm in cross country, and they see me differently because I'm an athlete and they expect me to do
They just
so well.
exactly
And they're
assume
like,
for
"Oh, you're
you."
an athlete, you're a runner, you do your 2 miles in 10 minutes, whatever, so this should be a piece of cake for you." However, they don't know that I'm in the same pain as they are. So that's when my physical mentality kicks in, and I have to just embrace it and go through it. And it's really painful. I just don't show it. I just don't.
It's very
show it.
painful,
It
very
is
painful. The fact that you can run 2 miles in 10 minutes, it's just terrible.
I mean,
Now, what about your ROTC challenge you mentally?
Mentally, well, I just go through it. It doesn't really affect me or challenge me mentally because I know that my battle buddies are doing it, and I just tell myself they're doing it. I just have to do the same thing because they're going through the same thing. Why not? Why would I, whine about it when everybody's doing the same thing?
So I understand what you're saying, but the fact that you have a 5-page paper due for your colonel tomorrow morning, that doesn't challenge you mentally on the topic of Black Hawk Down and how we can apply those lessons to newly commissioned second lieutenants. That isn't challenging to you?
No, because I know that Federico has the same paper to write tomorrow morning. So I'll be like, hey, buddy, you wanna write it?
Now, mind you, this video is going to the colonel. So, Colonel Master, if these two individuals' papers look the same, you know why. All right, so I'm surprised, Bruce, your role in the battalion being the S3, the operations officer. I'm surprised you didn't say that that's how this program challenged you mentally, because for the Wildcats out there and anyone else, of course, watching, the operations person, the S3 in the battalion, is a very hard job. You pretty much plan everything that your unit, your battalion, whatever, does, and it is very, very, very strenuous. We have it in the Army, the operations order, which follow a 5-paragraph format with subparagraphs, with annexes, with just a plethora of whatever. So you want to talk about that position that you currently have?
Well, I was kind of hoping you wouldn't mention this because I don't want to shy anyone away, but it's
very rewarding, though. I should stipulate that. It's very rewarding.
Yes.
We're in the diming.
Mr. Carter here, he's an assistant. We work together most of the time, and we go through these. They're called op orders, operations orders together, and you have to plan everything from movement to get to your training site, to meals, to who's going to be in charge at this station.
Everything.
And everything in between. So.
All right, so I have a few pictures of the Eagle Battalion, which that we discussed last week is comprised of both Stetson University, Daytona State College, and also Bethune-Cookman University, with Embry-Riddle being the host institution. So we're going to pull up those pictures and show you, the different and various types of training that cadets in the Eagle Battalion undergo. But before we go to those pictures, I want to ask you, what were your parents' reaction to the fact that you signed your life away, essentially?
Well, my father, he was definitely very, very pleased.
Military veteran?
No. He was definitely thinking, hey, you don't have to pay for college, and this is a great way for you to better yourself. Mom, on the other hand, she's like, oh my God, my baby.
I think most mothers have that reaction. Yeah. And Josh, what about you, your parents?
No, my reaction from my mom was totally the opposite. when
She
I
was just
said,
pushing you out the door?
When I told her, hey, Mom, I'm going to join in the ROTC Army program, and she just started crying out of nowhere. She didn't know what the ROTC program was, and she's like, you're going to go to war. And I'm like, Mother, don't worry about it. This is a program that's going to help me go through different phases to become a second lieutenant in the Army, and I'll be leading my soldiers in the future.
Right.
So there's nothing for you to worry about.
And that's one thing that many Americans, many students, many whomever have a misconception about. Just because we're in the Army, just because we're in the military,
Exactly.
Air Force, Navy, Coast Guard, whatever, what have you, everybody doesn't see combat. Everybody
Exactly.
doesn't go overseas. Most people, you know, just have office positions. I'm not saying that that's what everybody in the Army does or wants to do, but let's just get that out of our heads now. Everybody doesn't go to Afghanistan. Everybody doesn't go to Iran, whatever, what have you. So now that that's out the way, I really want to pull up these pictures so that we can just show the different types of training that cadets undergo. So those pictures that you just saw are just some of the events or the types of training that that we all do over at Embry-Riddle. But we're going to take a short commercial break, Wildcats. Do not turn that TV channel because you do not want to miss what's coming up next. All right, I'm Genero Carter, your TV show host, chatting it up with Bruce and Josh.
What's good, everybody? It's your boy OMG, it's Chesman.